Does anybody check it for safety?
Yes.
Town checks it
That-
for safety?
Well,
Or the railroad?
the
checks it?
railroad, safety is a very high priority.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass around the pictures you can see I took of the ramp, of the Jersey barriers they put up to make sure that, cars and people and ramps, don't, encroach upon each other. That's, and I will say, sometimes the question of fencing comes up, and it's a good question. I've asked that question myself. But if you go on the Good Ground Road side, you will see there's no fencing between the tracks and the train and the rails. So I'm going to pass it around, let everybody take a look. I have 5 sets of the same 3 pictures. So if you look at one set, you're going to see the same thing. Everybody's going to see the same thing.
Hey, Tom, one quick question. What happens
Yeah.
if this truck shows up? It really screws it up. Not true. I mean, you know who I am. Last summer when he was down here.
The elect-
Thank you all for your questions. We will have Tom come back and come prepared with your questions. I'm not going to say we're going to do it for June, because we already have a plan for June, but maybe July we'll do that. So I want to mention 2 things that I forgot before. Our concert is July 9th in Good Crown Park that we are sponsoring. And tomorrow in Good Crown Park at 11 o'clock is the Hometown Heroes. They're putting up the banners, in case you want to go and support that. So one of our guests today is the new owner of Ricky's Plumbing. His name is Tom Farrell, and his attorney is Robert Fischette, and they're going to talk to you for a while. So while you're listening, get your questions prepared as well. And then is Commissioner Cappers in the audience?
Not yet, they just called and said we were busy.
And he's doing after. So do you want to stand?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Robert Fischetti. I'm here with Tom Farrell. Tom is one of the partners. Sorry. Tom is one of the partners of Trade Supply Group. Trade Supply owns several different construction supply companies, including Waterville Building Supply. We're here tonight because Trade Supply has purchased Ricky's Plumbing, the business, and they have an option to purchase the land that goes with it. In order for that option to make sense, we need some approvals from the town. As some of you may know, the property's been through some permitting over the years. It was developed where the 5 residential lots off to the south were sectioned off, and there was a plan approved by the town, and no one invested in it. There's been nothing done. As you know, the site is in some disarray. Trade Supply is looking to expand the retail wholesale plumbing to also include some lumber and building supplies and things like that. A smaller scale, we're not talking a big Riverhead building supply, but something that can complement the plumbing sales and and be able to provide the customers a little bit more of what they need. Part of doing that would be we've offered to the town, I believe it's 14 public parking spaces, so would be in the we're still trying to lay it out because we have to figure out the entrance and exit situation, but there would be 14 public parking spaces that would be sectioned off to be able to add to the public parking. And then the parking for the store would be further back, that's not to be confused. So we will be going before the town board. Bill Pell has been very helpful in moving this along for us. And we're here to get feedback. We're hoping that Ricky's will be able. We did submit. I don't know if you have it for the screen, the renderings and things that we submitted, but it will be a drastic improvement to the facade of the place. The site will be cleaned up. I can pull out the renderings or.
So again, my name's Tom. So my name's Tom Farrell. I'm a partner in a company called Trade Supply Group. We're the owners of Ricky's Plumbing, and just complimenting what Rob said, Our business is two main lines. Really, we distribute plumbing products and we distribute lumber. So taking Watermill Lumber as an example, we bought that business 12, 13 years ago, and we added Simon's Bath and Hardware there. So we're basically selling lumber and plumbing. And conversely, what we would like to do at Ricky's Plumbing is to add lumber, because we're finding that a lot of our lumber customers want to buy plumbing and vice versa. So that's our goal, is to really add and complement lumber with the plumbing sales at Ricky's. And part of our plan, if we acquire the property, would be to, put new siding on the property, improve the windows along the front. And our current thinking, our most recent thinking is maybe even have a side entrance here. And as Rob mentioned, we would look to provide the town with 14 parking spaces for the town's use.
So, yeah, we're very much in the preliminary stages of things, but we wanted to, if Ricky's is going to expand in this community, we wanted to hear from the community and get feedback. So that's really what we're here to do. Our plan is still in the initial stages, but we want to hear what everyone has to say, and so that we can try to incorporate the priorities of the public into the development of the plan.
I have one question. I have a friend of mine that has a shop that's way in the back. What's the timeline that you want to be moving out? He's in Arizona right now. I mean, round numbers, not exactly.
That would really depend on the approvals process. I'm going to guess it could take us 18 to 36 months to get the approvals.
It's fine, yeah, we have several. He's way in the back.
Yeah.
18, okay.
18, it's all a function of going through the process of getting site plan approval and everything else.
I'm a person that certainly believes in business and business growth, so I fully support what you're trying to do. I guess one of the questions I have is, how are you thinking about traffic flow in your facility? Because you're obviously selling to a lot of trades that are coming through. So mitigating traffic in that area is going to be an issue. So have you thought about any of that?
We haven't done any formal traffic studies per se. That's an excellent question. I mean, today, there are several subcontractors in the back, in that building in the back you mentioned. And there's over a dozen different tenants who, landscapers, site work contractors, civil contractors, who use different areas of the site for staging. So our thinking is, if you do a trip count on what's happening there today and what it will be with us, the trip count would be far less with us because we're going to be the single tenant. There won't be 13 or 14 tenants there. The site is extremely challenging. It's very long, very narrow. So we would put 3 rectangular lumber racks in the back, and we would have one what we call a T-shed in the middle of the site, and we would basically have forklifts, prepare pickup loads or loads to be delivered in the T-shed, and the T-shed would be a point of departure. So, but it's a tricky site, and we think going from 13 or 14 tenants to 1 tenant could be helpful.
Would you consider using the Fanning Avenue as an exit plan at some point?
You go ahead.
I don't know if that would really be up to the town board and the planning board. I don't know. I know that was not incorporated into the earlier plan, probably to keep that more residential over there. So it really depends. It is kept open as an emergency access, but I don't know that they would be, okay with having it be something regular.
So what is that zone?
Yeah, so it's a special zone. So in the town code, there is there's a special section in the town code that allows for specific zoning in an area. So it's called a multi-use plan development district, MUPD. So yes, and that's where it is. And in that type of zone, the allowed uses and buildings and everything are laid right out. It's where you can see it in the town code. So now what we're asking the town to do, so there's a moratorium on those, but we're just asking to amend it. We're just saying, okay, the plan that was put into place in 2003, no one invested in it. You've seen the site, it's stagnant. There, what was there is not going to turn a profit for anyone. There's no one knows there. So what we're looking to do is amend that to redefine what the buildings can be used for and what that area can be used for. Just for the commercial site, the residential lots would obviously just stay as they are.
And that was my second question. I didn't realize there were residential sites on there. We know what that is.
It's not on, they're not on there. It was subdivided at this point over 20 years ago. So if you were to pull around, I believe it's Fanning Avenue, it looks like a road, but it's really a common driveway, and there's 5 lots. They're totally separated from this commercial property, but there are 5 housing lots that I think they're recently built on.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, yes.
So everybody can, so I do know a contractor that's, renting. Everybody's gonna get eventually evicted, is that what you're saying?
They will eventually, yes, they will. Those uses will be eventually phased out as part of this, yes.
Are you keeping the name or you're changing the name? I know,
You know, to be determined. I'm not sure.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, I'm just,
What's your name again? I missed it.
Tom Farrell.
Tom Farrell.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Yes.
Well, welcome. Totally support what you're doing, and thank you. Just a quick question. The forklifts, the lumber, will that be exposed at all, or will it be?
Yes.
It will. Okay.
Sorry.
You said the parking
Yes.
will be available to town residents, but after the business is closed, after hours, or?
So it would be a sectioned off separate parking lot. So there would be, as you pull in, if you're pulling into the site from the street, on the left side, and we're still figuring out the entrance and exit and everything, but on the left side, there would be 14 spaces. And then behind that would be the parking for the store, and the idea would be that the store entrance would be sort of towards the back. But there would be clear, separation and signs that the store parking is in the back, and the 14 spots would just be open for public use.
Would those 14 spots have signage, like an hour parking or whatever? or
That's all to be
staff
determined,
parking?
yeah. That's discussions to be had with the town board once we get in front of them.
And the lumber and all the equipment will be in the back?
Yes, it will be, I don't know if you've ever been to Waterville Building Supply, they keep a very clean and tight site. It's going to be night and day from what it is now, but yes, it'll be a very organized flow of materials and, and loading and unloading.
So really from the street, you would see the 14 spaces that we're providing to the town and what's on this rendering. That's what you would see from the street.
You would have a lot of trucks and things making deliveries from
Yeah.
Palm into, so it's a lot busier than it is presently. There's no lumber, it's not a lumber store now.
No, but
so-
there's 13 or 14 different contractors there right now. Landscapers, site civil contractors, the 2 or 3 subcontractors working in the back. There's a lot going on there
But you
right
never
now.
see the big vehicles, the trucks that need to deliver lumber that length of.
If they have storage, they cannot do it.
I'm just curious.
There will be some larger trucks coming, maybe 2 or 3 a day, something like that. But just to be clear, if there's not a lot of room on the site, this is not going to be a big lumber yard. It's going to be, if a plumber's picking up pipes, valves, fittings, and toilet bowls, and he needs a couple of 2x4s, that's what he's getting. This is not, no one's building a house from this lumber yard.
Okay.
This is a different use.
This
of
is,
town
this
code.
is really not, because there's no room on the site.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, I just had a point. I mean, I live in this town, I go up on Quag, the only way plumbing trucks can get out of there is if I stop and wave them through. So the traffic, you say it's challenging, it's extremely downtown. I don't know what the traffic pattern is, a safety zone, a light or something? Is
So
there any kind of
if,
analysis?
so we would do a traffic study.
Yeah.
If the town and you all were receptive to this, and that's really what we're here to find out. And there would be, we'd have to do trip counts for today and forecasted trip counts, all that work would need to be done.
It needs to be improved even in the current situation, because it's not an easy place to get in and out.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
can't really make a left without people stopping and letting you
I
know.
see.
You got the railroad light,
Yeah.
tight turns and all that,
Mhm.
so, yeah, I welcome you in that.
Okay, thank you.
We did,
Yeah.
we are in the process of, just as a first glance, speaking with the town engineer about how best to line up the entrance with the light, possibly if a small shift in the light would be necessary to try to make it as safe and lined up as possible.
I hope, well, I don't know where the council people went, but I myself am starting to think of the uglification of Hampton Bays that's starting. And I'm not opposed to your business in general, whatever, but the site down by the diner is the ugliest, and the town allowed this. So kind of whatever the town allows, the town, oh, there you are.
Still here.
Sorry, whatever the town allows, it would maybe be a good idea to go above and beyond that. I mean, it's a
Which site are you?
sacrilege down by, well, we call it the diner site. Now it's gonna be the Wagner,
Oh, okay.
radiology, and the two propane places.
Yes, I know what you mean.
And Montauk Highway was bumper to bumper this week, like at 12:30 in the afternoon, because of the trucks and this, and so, I think a lot of people like to support your idea, but it has to be something drastically different than what was allowed down there. I mean, there's not a tree, I know you got some roadies and azaleas there, but,
It's
it
gonna-
has to look nice, because it's really getting, you're letting it get very ugly.
It's a disgrace.
It is a disgrace, it really is, and.
I don't think this will be contributing to that. I think this will certainly be bringing it the other direction.
Well, you gotta make it much better than that, if you want my support, but, believe me.
I understand.
I just think we should make more of an effort than the town requires, because they're not really, they have a low bar, they have a comprehensive plan that they don't apply. I mean, that site down there should have all this landscaping and this and that, and they're just letting people do whatever they approve. So if you could make something much better than that would be great.
I think it really is the opportunity for this site. I mean, as I said, the previous approval was over 20 years ago. Nothing's happened with it. So now Trade Supply has a
Do
lease.
municipal speed.
Yeah, well, now Trade Supply has a lease on the building, and they have the option, if they can get this through, to really clean up the site and really bring it,
Yeah, just like, again, it's very ugly down there.
Yes.
Let's not make it ugly here also. That's my request, if you will.
Good question. Do you think you would demolish the building and rebuild? Okay, so they demolished the building over there. and then-
Yes, no, that front building would
And then they
remain.
made so much bigger in that area, so you're not
Not
demolishing the
the
building.
very rear building, way in the back, not really visible, I don't think, for anywhere, would be demolished. But the front building would just be refurbished.
Well, I could have planted some trees down there. They're supposed to be.
But honestly, to your point,
Well, I mean, again,
we-
it's too much
we would,
for tonight's
we would
side.
listen to the community, and, I mean, the landscaping, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't cost anything. So,
Exactly, that's what
so
we-
I'm sure we can do something
Well, they should have
there.
done it down there too.
Yeah, understood.
What the community wants at times and what the town does are two different things.
I see. Well, we're gonna do our best to take into consideration what all the parties want and what we need, and try and balance it as best we can.
I mean, there was a lumberyard years ago.
Exactly, exactly.
And it was the first bank in Hampton Bays.
Say again?
It was the first bank in Hampton Bays.
Is that right?
The 5 people that got together started it in there, and up until about 15 or 20 years ago, the big safe was still inside.
Is that right?
Hampton Bays National
Oh, wow.
Bank.
But you're right, it was a lumberyard up until the early 80s, I think. Any other questions?
No, it's ugly now, so maybe anything.
I promise you. Honestly, if you go to Watermill Lumber and look at our showroom there, that's what we do. We own Simon's Bath and Hardware in Manhattan. That's what we do. We do nice things. But our target customer is they build luxury homes. So we wouldn't want to do something nice. Okay.
Do you need them back? Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Good luck. Good luck. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Cappers, you're on.
Way in the back there, he's got his cars back there.
So that, go ahead. Okay, so this is our Water Commissioner, James Cappers, Superintendent, James Cappers, and we apologize that your name was spelled wrong in the paper. Well, that's even worse.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Can you hear me? Okay, so I'm James Cappers, the superintendent of Hampton Bays Water District, and with me today is Keith Tuttle Jr., the assistant. I have John Collins and Chris Weber of H2M. They're our engineers. They're here to answer any questions that I may not be able to answer. Just a little bit about me. I've been with the Water District now. This is my 21st year with the Hampton Bays Water District. My 3rd year as the superintendent. Before then, I was the assistant, labor crew leader, maintenance 2, and maintenance 1. So I started at the bottom and made it to the top. So basically, I know you guys had some questions that were presented to us, but before we get into that, we're going to briefly discuss basically what we discussed at the town board meetings. I know that's what the biggest issue, so to speak, here was that you guys weren't be available for the town board meetings during the day and so forth. So kind of want to go over what we did at the town board meeting and present some information to the public here. Sure, everybody knows the Tuttle around here, huh? So, what the Hampton Bays Water District currently is embarking on is called what is a capital improvement plan. Back in 2020, the town board adopted this 10-year master plan that seeks and found out any of the infrastructure that needed upgrades. Some immediate, some more towards the future. So we're in that towards the future part of the master plan. In the beginning, we put a iron filtration system at Plant 4 on Bellows Pond Road. It's 2 large vessels, sand vessels, that remove iron that is naturally occurring in the aquifer that we pull the water from. It removes it and then puts it into the system with non-detect iron. We did a complete tank rehab at Plant 4 as well, piggybacking off the iron. So we have a 1 million gallon storage tank at Plant 4. So that 1 million gallon storage tank had to be completely drained, sanded down from the inside and outside, and then repainted and up to AWWA standards so that tank will last like 20, 30, 40 years before we have to do it again. We also did, 20 years, you told me. That's from H2M, not me. No, then we did we also did, not in any specific order, but we did 2 transmission mains. One transmission main was technically the main feed for Dune Road. We did directionally boring from the lighthouse, the Coast Guard on Lighthouse Road there, underneath Shinnecock Bay, came up onto Dune Road. I believe it was roughly 2,200 feet of pipe, and the deepest part is about 33 feet below the surface of the water. So it's something that we had to do because of the current pipe that was there was laid on the bottom of the bay, and with the ebbs and flow of the tide there, it became weak, sitting in the salt water. We had many instances where we had to repair that, cost a lot of money, so we got rid of that and did the directional bore. The second one was the redundant main that we went from where Mashut Beach is. On the other side is Sunset Avenue. We went from Sunset Avenue underneath the canal into Mashut Beach area and tied a redundant feed that helps feed the east side of the canal, because that was only fed by one 12-inch main underneath the canal bridge. So in the force of something happening to that main that fed underneath the bridge, then the main feed would have been shut down. So now we have a redundant feed for the instance of bringing more water flow to that side of the town, and also if there is ever an issue that hopefully we'll never run into. Another main project that we're embarking on this year is a meter replacement program. So a lot of the meters in the ground were roughly 30 to 40 years old. I know that replacing those meters makes it more accurate for your usage, but what happens is that when we show the DEC at the end of the year, our pumpage report compared to our billing report, there's this huge gap. The percentages doesn't meet in the middle. So we're in that 20 to 30% pumped versus billing. Now we do have some water loss that we can account for, where it's water main flushing, unexpected leaks, fire department usage, and so forth. But we like to see those numbers a little bit tighter, because then if we ever go for another well, which we're in the process of doing, and they see this big gap in this usage versus billing, then they're gonna say, wait, what's going on here? You got a lot, you're wasting water, so to speak, and that's what, we don't wanna do that. We don't wanna show people that we are doing that. So we first started with our large diameter meters. We went from we have a bunch of 10-inch, 8-inch, 6-inch, few 4-inch, and a couple 3-inch. And then we also are now doing our 1.5 and 2-inch meters. You know, usually residential is more like 5/8, which is 5/8 by 3/4 meters, a smaller meter, or a 1-inch. But these larger ones from 2-inch and above are more commercial. So we want to make sure that those are reading accurate for our reports, and also that we're showing that we have better water conservation, because if you are getting a high bill, you might look at it and say, why is this happening? And then we can help and determine why you're getting this large bill. If you have a leak under your ground, your sprinkler system's running 4 times a day for 40 minutes a zone, and so forth. So that's one of our main reasons to do that. So right now, the current meter replacement, we have about 40 meters left of the 1.5 and 2-inch. And from that point on, we're gonna go on to our 1-inch meters, and then once that's completed, we're gonna go to our 5/8 by 3/4 meters. The goal here, the end goal here, is to turn this into radio reporting back to our office. Currently, I'm sure you guys see you guys going out with a wand and pointing it on your meter and taking your read, and then having to come back and then put it into the computer, and all that time, that's about a week or so from that time, that gap from us collecting the read, by the time we process that billing. So what this will eventually do now for us is report back to us, and we can determine high spikes in your reads. We can determine your most usage when you're using the most water, help you find leaks earlier, detect it earlier for customers, so they're not waiting 2, 3, 4 weeks to let us come out and say, yes, you have a leak, and then you had that 3 to 4 weeks of water being wasted, and then you end up with a high bill. So with that, that's also going to free up our manpower, because we have 3 to 4 employees that have to go out each month. It takes 3 weeks each month to read the cycle. So we read in 3 cycles. It's about 2,000 meters per cycle. So we have to have 3 or 4 employees do that. So we're scrapping at the bit to get everything done along with meter reading. So this will help free up the manpower and let us do more hydrant maintenance more quickly, install new meters, and overall maintenance for the pump houses and stuff. So, any questions on the meter replacement? Okay.
How is what you're discussing here with the meter system connected to the information that homeowners were asked to provide or take a picture of?
Okay, so what you're referring to was the EPA recently, I think it was 2023, came down that every service line that's in the ground countrywide had to be determined the material type. So we had to conduct a survey that was sent out to each resident that is serviced by the Hampton Bays Water District to determine what if we didn't have records of it, what their service line material was, whether it be lead, copper, galvanized, plastic, and so forth. That was a mandate from the EPA that was sent down to the state, sent down to the locals, and then put on all the water district suppliers in the country. So it came, and we are complete of that. We've, thanks to the customers at Hampton Bays, we did complete that. We had to do a lot ourselves, going into homes and helping you guys out and get it done. But we can report that Hampton Bays has 0 lead service lines in Hampton Bays.
Will we be notified when they come to do the work?
Yes, so you do get a notification from us. You will get a notification from our contractor as well.